Hi, welcome to eSuite. Today let's have a look at standard reporting within the eSuite system. Keep in mind that eSuite also integrates to Microsoft Power BI reporting, and within the Microsoft Power BI system you can have access to a vast array of drill down and graphical capabilities that exceed what we're going to be looking at today. But right now let's have a look at the standard capabilities of the eSuite reporting system. So within the eSuite standard product you have available many standard reports. For example, here's a classic profit and loss report, profit with budgets. It's very similar to what you'd find in any other accounting system. Lots of options to filter by date range. We can select a period for a financial year, and we can choose what we want to show on this report. And so we end up with an actual versus budget report. Now let's have a look at a sales summary report. And with all of the eSuite reports, there are many filtering capabilities. We can filter by delivery run, transaction headers, we can filter by customer, user-defined fields, and user-defined attribute fields. There's an infinite number of user-defined fields that can be added to the core system, and they're available for filtering within all the reports. We design our inventory system in a tree structure, so you have a top level category, and within the that top level category you can have subcategories. There's actually no level to the number of layers you can go down, categories, subcategories, subcategories, etc. There's no, because it's a tree structure. But let's have a look at this report. So there's a standard report in the eSuite system, and you can see what we're doing here is we're grouping by a category and then by a customer type, and we're getting the sales quantity and dollar figures for that given period. We could change that to for example, segment code, and there's lots of fields that we can group by, and we get a different report. So now instead of by product category, it's by product segment, and these segment codes can be linked to the products and can be used for analysis. Now the segment codes are part of our analysis codes, and the analysis codes can be linked to customers in the defaults. So we've set this particular customer, Al's Diner, to being a restaurant. Within the stock code system we have analysis codes that can be linked as a default in there, so we could link this and call this dairy, for example, or we might actually go with we'll go frozen. But these analysis code fields are for your purpose, and they can be defined for any purpose whatsoever, and you can choose to link them to stock codes or to customers or to transactions or formula-based calculations. They're completely flexible, and the nice thing about these analysis codes is they actually get fed all the way into the general ledger. So if I open up a transaction, what I can see is that the analysis code, in this case the cost center code, has been pasted in from this customer, and it's then copied into the line items. So we can see here it's in the line items, but it also goes through to the general ledger. So there it is in the general ledger. So what this means is that within the general ledger we can get a filter of that cost center code and get, for example, a profit and loss by that cost center code. Or if we remove that filter, we can also split the general ledger by that cost center code. So if we open up our income GL and expand into the sales, what we get is a breakdown of all postings by that cost center code. So watch what happens when I remove this cost center split. and I re-expand that general ledger, you can see the splitting of the cost centers disappeared. So what does this mean? This means that we can do, within the reporting system, in the profit and loss, we can filter by these cost center codes in here and produce a P&L just for that cost center code. But the same code feeds into our sales summary reporting. So if we go back to our sales summary, close these down, and what we've done here is you can see we're using these cost center codes and segment codes, these analysis codes, and producing a breakdown of segment code versus cost center code, summarizing quantity and total for a given period. Now, one of the things about the eSuite system is that it is totally customizable. So not only can we design the layout that you just saw, so let's just have a look at that again. There's the standard layout, and what I can do is I can actually design that layout. I'm going to create a new layout, and we can go in here and we can change the color of this, and we can drop all sorts of objects in here. We can drop labels, extra info, and redesign the layouts of these reports. So I'm going to save this layout, and we're going to see how it is updated in the core system. But we can actually export this layout to a file on the hard drive. I'll just call it Monday. And so I've done two things. I've actually changed the layout of one of our standard reports, but I've saved this layout as a file on my computer. We'll call this Tuesday. Okay. And so there's the layout that's linked to the standard report. And if I print that, I can select the Tuesday layout, and there it is. So customized layout against a standard report. But within eSuite, all of our reports have got embedded SQL. So this is the raw SQL command that is used to produce the data in this report. Now I can copy this SQL to the clipboard and go into the System Settings, Design Custom Queries, and go in here and paste that SQL into this script. And then I can customize this, and I can, for example, let's add a date range, and TRS date and transdate right, so I'm now modifying the SQL. Let me just put a prefix in there. Right, let me just have a quick look at that and check the syntax. So we've got a date range, and yes, so that query is working. So what I've done is I've taken a standard SQL report, the SQL from a standard report, copied it to the clipboard and pasted it in here. Now I'm going to save this as a test for Monday. Close that down, and I've created this custom query here. Now what I want to do is bring across the layout that I copied from a standard report in eSuite, because the default is just to drop all of these fields in here, which we could then move around and customize as required. But what I want to do is I want to cheat here, and I'm going to bring in the standard layout that I saved a minute ago. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it to my custom query, like so. And just to make it visually different, I'm going to change this color here to orange, and I'm going to save that and close this down. And what I've done is I've created a brand new report in the user-defined section of the reporting system called a test for Monday. with a custom date range, and there is a fully custom built report that I was able to create in literally the time that you saw me do it. Now, of course, what we can do with this is start from scratch. We can build up a custom report for whatever you want and make it look at however you want it to look within this report designing tool. And of course, you can email these and export them as required to Excel, and there's many different formats, PDF and so on, CSV. Okay, now the other thing that we can do is we can take that custom report that we designed and we can put it in a dashboard. So I can create a tab here and call it Monday, like so, and we can add that object, test for Monday, like so, make it a report and drop it in there, and that is now part of what we call the dashboard. And the dashboard is just a quick way of getting access to our favorite reports. I don't think, somehow I didn't save it, but anyway, let's see what I did. I don't think I saved it. File system settings, dashboard setup, Monday. Okay. No, I just realized that I need to give myself user access to that report by ticking it in the user settings. So now when I go to the dashboard, there is my Monday report. So as you can see, totally customized report. We have a dashboard system and lots of capabilities of the reporting tool. But that is just the beginning. There's also pivots. If we can have a quick look at that. So in here, again, there's lots of all the filtering that you could expect. We can choose what fields we want to pivot on, and we can get a pivot report. And then what we can do is we can drag these down here. We can take the stock code and drag that up there, and so there's our breakdown of primary level stock codes split by the different types of customer. So again, and we can move these things around, take this one away, drop this one back down here. So lots of drill down, slice and dice reporting available within the pivot system. But again, this is just the beginning. When you use Power BI, it's even more graphical and more powerful, and it is available free of charge. So the Power BI system can be integrated. There's no cost to you to get the desktop Power BI tool from Microsoft. So we do recommend you have a look at that. Thank you for watching, and that is standard reporting within eSuite.